Welcome. It's been a while. It has been a while.
We back.
Welcome back to the Swoosh Hoops podcast, episode 29. As we are, I would say, heading towards now the ramp up of the NBA season. We're getting past the dead period of the league. Obviously, a lot of things have been happening, have happened rather since we last had a live show. Well, first things first, the big trade. Well, before that, before the trade of Donovan Mitchell, we'll get into obviously our last episode we talked about Kevin Durant saga, the Kyrie Irving thing, and what may happen with him, possibly leaving, getting traded to the Lakers, what may have you. Obviously, I want to publicly apologize because I was firmly informed and felt as if the Lakers were going to get Kyrie Irving. That didn't happen.
Your backdrop was Kyrie in a Laker jersey.
It sure was. So I deserve to be in the Super PAC to Slovenia and back. But I admit,
It's okay. We all had hope.
yes,
We all had hope.
but we just kicked the can down the road. That's all that happened. We'll get into that in another time, another episode. But as we know, Kevin Durant has elected to stay with the Brooklyn Nets. I don't believe by any stretch of the imagination that this issue is over after I'm calling for your job and then I show up the next day and say, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing? How's your family?" Right? So now we're getting to present time, and we want to talk about the New York Knicks struck out on getting Donovan Mitchell. Everyone thought he was going to be a Knick. Donovan Mitchell, indirectly, sometimes you would see it, piqued his interest in joining the organization and the franchise. That didn't happen. Donovan Mitchell was then traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, Utah East. But no, they have a really good team, young squad. Obviously, Darius Garland's an all-star. Got to give him respect and mad love. Jared Allen, another all-star. An anchor on defense, rebounder. Evan Mobley, man, is going to be an all-star plus in a few years. He's going to be really good. Isaiah Okoro, obviously, young guys coming up. Very good 3-and-D guy, developing well. They still got Caris LeVert as well. So, the Knicks, Eric, a.k.a. EricL Beats, a.k.a. Play the Youth. What is going on in CAA land? Because, as you know, Leon Rose, CAA, ex-CAA founder, and now he's the president of the New York Knicks organization. Donovan Mitchell, represented by CAA as well. I mean, how? The reports that came out, a lot, the picks, draft compensation, and players. Then RJ Barrett gets a rookie, not max extension, but close to it. I like the commitment on RJ Barrett. I don't think you would trade him for Donovan Mitchell. You want to pair him up with Donovan Mitchell. So that I'm glad the Knicks stand firm, didn't panic then, but they did offer him. That was on the table. So what are your thoughts? What's going on in at the Garden over there? Did you guys, set up some voodoo angel dolls and torch the tiki's on fire? Like, what's going on over there?
All I'm gonna say before Eric go ahead, man, the Knicks can't get a break, bro. Like, it's just the same song and dance over and over again. They're like this close. But go ahead.
So, all right. So, if you go back to the playoff series between the Mavericks and Jazz, that game one, you see a whole Knick contingency of Leon Rose, Worldwide West, Allen Houston, Julius Randle, and company. They were at the what you call it, the scores table. at the game.
Yeah, they were recruiting as if
Yeah, they were
they were
recruiting.
college
They were literally
scouts.
recruiting Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell at the same time. So, well, the reports that I got out of it was the Utah Jazz were very, very unhappy. They were not happy about them showing up to their playoff games, right? So here you have Danny Ainge, who is notorious for fleecing teams for for draft compensation for trading for their superstars, right? Go back to 2013, Celtics Nets, when Danny Ainge traded away the remainings of Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Nets traded all of their future draft picks to the Celtics. That led to them chase Jalen Brown and a whole bunch of other draft picks. That trade package, Celtics won that going away in the blowout. Go and then you go to the Celtics and Sixers trade when they drafted in 2018 when they drafted Jason Tatum and the Sixers drafted Markelle Fultz. They swapped picks, but the Celtics wanted Jason Tatum, so they traded away. They basically swapped picks for the first pick to the third pick, right? So you knew that Danny Ainge was going to make sure that the Knicks pay a hefty tax to get Donovan Mitchell. Okay. But here's the kicker. Remember the last episode we talked about that Rudy Gobert trade? How many picks did the Jazz get? They got instantly 5 first-round picks. So you knew going into the Donovan Mitchell trade that Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz was going to ask for at least 4 or 5 first-round picks. So the initial offering was the Knicks. What I read was Leon Rose and them. They offered the Jazz R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, and 3 unprotected first-round picks. Surprisingly and luckily, Danny Ainge said no. Get back to the drawing board. I was like, okay. The fact that they offer R.J. Barrett tells you something. All right. So now it's this whole 2-month stalemate from June till August, late August. So now the last official offering was R.J. Barrett, Manuel Quickly, and 3 first-round picks. The Knicks wanted to give up 2 first-round picks, unprotected. The Jazz wanted 3 unprotected. They didn't care about the consolidation picks. They didn't care about second-round picks. They wanted the Knicks unprotected first-round picks, 3. Knicks said they want to give up only 2. So, and also remember, last Friday, there was a report that came out from Ian Beckley of SNY saying that the Cavaliers pulled out of that deal. But once the Knicks gave RJ Barrett that extension, that a 4-year extension, $120 million signed last Monday, they literally went to the back door. Cavaliers and the Jazz did the backdoor deal. They met up and then they said, okay. The Knicks said, nope. Monday's the deadline. If you don't want this offer, we're taking it off the table. We're giving RJ Barrett the extension. Also, if you think about it, the first offering, they offered Mitchell Robinson along with RJ Barrett, the 2 guys that they re-signed in deals. They gave Mitchell Robinson a $60 million deal back in June or late July. And also just last week, RJ Barrett, $120 million extension. So that's where the talks broke down. And now the Cavaliers, they swooped up. They gave it the 3 unprotected picks and also two unprotected pick swaps. along with Colin Sexton, Laurie Markkinen, and Ochai Agbaji, who, if you think about it, this who was picked by the Cavaliers, who was a lottery pick. So basically, they gave up four first round picks, 3 unprotected, and 2 unprotected pick swaps. Meanwhile, they wanted the Knicks to give up 4 unprotected picks and RJ Barrett, which was way too much. Way too much. Am I just disappointed that they didn't get Donovan Mitchell? I am, yes. I am. Because I wanted to see him back home, Madison Square Garden, pair with RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and okay, here we go. Let's figure out the roster configuration later on. But if you take out the emotion and really look how things have panned out, it was smart for them to pull out because Danny Ainge he kind of negotiated and not in good faith and also out of spite because now you hear rumors of the Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz. They did not want to they didn't want to trade Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. They traded him to the Cavaliers out of spite because of all the how the Knicks and the Jazz negotiations happened. Danny Ainge thought that he was gonna get over. He was trying to get one over Leon Rose, knowing that he was a former CAA agent who created CAA, also a former attorney, knowing that how negotiations work. Leon Rose made sure that I'm gonna make sure that basically he was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that if my end of the bargain does not entice what you want, then I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna pull out of the deal. If you don't like what I'm offering, go somewhere else and see if you can find something better. Now, as you look at it, it's like the Cavaliers gave up more than what the Knicks gave up. Actually, no. Actually, let me reword that. The offer for the Cavaliers was kind of worse than what the Knicks kind of would have offered them, but I still think the Cavaliers gave up a little bit too much. But Cavaliers are in a better position to give up the picks and give up the players because they didn't need the players. Colin Sexton, he was an afterthought, and Laurie Markkinen didn't fit the system that the Cavaliers were playing in. Because you really think about it, you got Jared Allen, you got Evan Mobley, okay, and you still got Kevin Love, who's a spot up shooter.
Yep.
So there was no need for Laurie Markkinen and Colin Sexton coming off a season and an injury. You got Darius Garland. You replace him with Mitchell Robinson with Donovan Mitchell. There you go. So they can afford to give up those players, and plus Darius Garland and Jared Allen are all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
On the Knicks side, okay, yeah, you give up RJ Barrett. Okay, so who's the equivalent of who the Cavaliers have as in pair of the roster configuration and who and how they set up and who's on the pillar of who fits in the rotation, who's the actual rotational player.
Mm-hmm.
It's Quentin Grimes. I don't know, but here's the kicker. The fact that Quentin Grimes was untouchable in his deal with Donovan Mitchell, which now puts the onus on Thibodeau to start Quentin Grimes, because you cannot play Evan Fournier in the starting lineup with Jalen Brunson. Now the onus is on Tom Thibodeau to make sure that Quentin Grimes gets more minutes, Obi Toppin gets more minutes, Manuel Quickly gets more minutes, because those are the 3 guys that you was willing to put in the trade for Donovan Mitchell, and Leon Rose said no, along with the unprotected picks that they would have to give up to Team Donovan Mitchell. So now this comes back to Tom Thibodeau is clearly on notice. And now Leon Rose in the front office is going to have to figure out, okay, we're going to have to pivot, pull it back, and give these give these young guys more free range to get into the rotation and play more minutes, because we cannot allow veterans like Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, and even the Julius Randle to, how can I say this, rack up more minutes, be a mainstay in the rotation, and instead of playing the young guys like Obi Toppin, Manuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes. So now you got a dilemma. So what's the next move for the Knicks?
I got a question.
All right, so let me finish this. So the next move for them is either you're gonna have to trade either Evan Fournier or Julius Randle or Obi Toppin to free up the power forward spot, to see how you pivot towards playing, how you pivot towards how you want to play going to this coming season.
All right. So 2 things. Why would you want to trade Obi Toppin? I thought he's part of the young core.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that it's either or, but I'm more of trading Julius Randle at this point.
So that which leads to my other question. So you guys are rebuilding then. That's what you're doing.
They're gonna have to. It's not it. Here's the thing. Now they put themselves in this is what they did to themselves. They put themselves in a spot where they're in the middle. They're in the middle where like they're not in contention for an NBA championship, but at the same time they're not as bad as being in the lottery, and that's not good.
Okay, so
I'm crying right now because it's like hilarious. Man.
No, I get it. I get it. It's like pretty much. I mean, we didn't sit here and think that this offseason was going to be a quick fix for the Knicks. Now, if y'all got Donovan Mitchell and if y'all chimed in on the whole KD situation or Kyrie situation, whatever y'all did, right? That would have been the quick fix for y'all. But it's like y'all in this position now, and it's like y'all didn't move. You know what I mean? Like last season, even in the middle of the season when Julius Randle was bumming it, we all came to the realization that damn, the Knicks are stuck, because the Knicks and the Lakers, we was in the same spot. We was like, damn, like we're not that good to be good, and we're not that bad to be bad. We're just in the middle. So it's like these pieces not happening, these scenarios not happening, is forcing us to be in this middle situation. It's kind of like I think the main person who's like is the cause of all of this is Julius Randle. Honestly,
yeah,
the main thing, because if you get rid of him, it's like, okay, what value does he have to get decent value back? Good quality role players, like
you're falling right into my trap.
so you see what I'm saying? So it's like, what do the Knicks gain off of him? Like, is it good value? Is it bad value? Because at
this point,
so wait, hold on, real quick. I just want to get this out.
Go ahead.
So. Under whose tenure was the Julius Randle deal made?
Steve Mills.
So this was before Leon Rose got here?
Yeah, so when he got there first, he signed a 3-year deal under Steve Mills. With the extension, it was under Leon Rose, because he had that 2021 season, which prior to that season, they drafted Obi Toppin. They thinking on that they wanted to trade Julius Randle and insert Obi Toppin as their power forward. But what happened was Julius Randle had the second year All NBA season, the All Star, Most Improved Player, and the second team All NBA. That literally just threw everything off the table, and now they had to like basically scramble and re-sign him to that deal, and now they have to like keep Obi Toppin on the bench. So that's where
here's what we call mismanagement of asset management, Mr. Leon Rose.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because if Leon Rose, aka Mr. CAA, If Leon Rose thought Julius Randle isn't going to be the face of our franchise moving forward, regardless of the season that he had in 2021, wouldn't at that time his contract before the extension would have been a lot more, I would say, appeasing to trade.
Yeah.
Now, right? Wouldn't that have been? I'm just laying out the mistakes here. Because here's
Because
the issue.
he was on his he was on his second to last year of his deal.
That's what I'm saying.
So so this past season would have been his last deal, and then you would have been
You
able
would have been able to get
him.
off of him. That's what I'm saying. Because he would have been an expiring, and there was shades of, oh, okay, if the team is built around him, he could be an all-star, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Leon Rose has been at the helm for about 4 seasons now?
3 years.
So three seasons, one playoff appearance.
One playoff appearance, yeah, 2021.
Right, and then obviously the last 2 years, you guys didn't even make the play in.
No, so 2020 was his first year that he got in. Then the season stopped, and then the 2021 season, that was their first full year. They made the playoffs. Last year was the second season, so this coming year is his third season.
Copy. Okay. All right. I just wanted some context behind it because it's there's clear mismanagement of assets going on still. And again, who am I to judge? We let Alex Caruso walk for nothing, but I'm just saying, like, it's the constant. What I'm getting at is nothing's changed, no matter the regime. You guys are back to rebuilding again. A little bit more promise this time, for sure, with the talent that you guys have acquired. But how long are you guys going to wait until these guys pop? And then here's the vitriol of, we need a new voice, we need a better team, because we're the same mediocre Knicks that has never have done anything, So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird, and I don't understand it. Hopefully it gets better, but the Cavaliers clearly are moving in the right direction with those guys. Adding Donovan Mitchell to me was an A+. I am concerned though, from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, they got a small
They have a
backcourt.
very small backcourt between Garland and Mitchell. Mitchell, as seen, and I watched a lot of Utah games because obviously the Lakers play Utah a lot. Not a very good defender, right? And Jalen Brunson, geez. Darius Garland is also not a very good defender, but I'm interested to see that dynamic duo, because it's not like how in Atlanta, right? DeJounte Murray is a defender. Like, you're gonna see,
you're gonna put him on the best perimeter
right,
player,
right? And him and Trae Young could thrive together. I'm not saying Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland can't. I'm curious to see how that dynamic works out from a defensive standpoint. And obviously, don't get me wrong, like, it was easy for Donovan Mitchell to sag off and not really play hard defense when you got a 7'4" guy behind you blocking all the shots, right? And Rudy Gobert. But at the same time, they have that same thing in Cleveland. So it may not be a issue for him to play this hard-nosed, lock-up, defense, because you're gonna have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen on the back line. But I'm curious, how teams will attack them now on defensively, because they are small guards. Offensively, what does that look like now? Because Donovan Mitchell loves to put up shots. And is he going to be, like, who's going to be the playmaker role? Will Darius Garland tailor more to being a playmaker after having an outbreak season last year and wanting to build on that? Or, is Donovan Mitchell going to take the step back and say, hey, like, you're the guy of the team, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I can to fit in and fill in. So, again, I still think that if you're the Cavs, that was the right move to make if it was on the table. You instantly make yourself top of the conversation in the East now, at least during the regular season, because there's a lot of uncertainty throughout the East, obviously, with Brooklyn. We don't know what the hell's going on with them. Miami, where they look different, where they were a fluke last year. What is Philly going to look like? I think they'll be a lot better. But, we never know. What is Toronto going to look like? Does Scottie Barnes take a leap? Chicago, Lonzo Ball, is not going to be ready for camp. So, like, how do they, start the season off? So I think the Cavs made the right decision, and they can strike where the iron's hot. There is a gap they can fill, but again, during the playoffs, what does that look like? So,
Mhm.
but again, I think the move was great. Um, I, I will admit though, I do think as much as I am a proponent of if I can get a star, f them picks. Um, but at the same time, I understand why the Knicks were like, whoa. Like if I'm offering RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson two unprotected, bro, come on,
Like
that
three
that
unprotected picks.
right, So, but again, the Cavs were willing to give up three unprotected and two pick swaps, so essentially it was five picks,
Yeah.
that they got. So,
And
um,
also, if you think about it, they're banking on
27 and 29 because
yeah,
because Donovan Mitchell's contract is up in
ends in 25.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. Who knows? Donovan Mitchell may be a Nick after all later down the line. But we'll see, man. I think evidently, um, the trade made some shifting, some different thinking happening as I segue into the Lakers, right? Because we all thought it was going to be a three-team trade between the Knicks, Lakers, and Jazz, and we felt as if Russell Westbrook was going to be part of that deal. But evidently, obviously, that did not happen. Armani, give me your thoughts on the Laker roster. Obviously, there was a trade with the Lakers, with the Jazz, which is crazy. The Jazz are in a lot of, they're in the business of trading their guys out right now, but and trying to get tank for Vic is the mantra. But yeah, the Lakers have traded Kellen Horn Tucker and Stanley Johnson for Patrick Beverly. No picks involved in this, which says something to me. Maybe there's a hand over fist type of deal later on
Mhm.
because, in my estimation, I felt like Patrick Beverly was going to get bought out. So necessarily the Lakers could have possibly waited till he got bought out. But in my Brian Windhorse, why would the Lakers and Jazz do
Mm.
that? No picks involved. You get a young guy that you can possibly see if he pops. You get a guy in Stanley Johnson who is a workhorse, can help your team in the immediate.
I'm gonna
They
miss
all
that brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss him too.
I'm gonna
They
miss
all
that brother.
they all fit the timeline, but also Patrick Beverley fits our timeline, right?
Hmm.
And he brings something that a philosophy that Darvin Ham's been preaching all offseason: toughness, togetherness, accountability.
Hmm.
He wants a dog. He wants Russ to play more defense. So we got a guy who does exactly that, who's a pit bull, who's an antagonist in a good way. You hate to play against him, but you love to have him on your team. So
Pat
far,
Bev is a Laker.
yes, Patrick Beverly, the long hated Patrick Beverly, the Clipper,
Man,
is a Laker.
we couldn't stand him,
Couldn't
man.
stand him. But
Couldn't
Armani, just
stand
give me
him.
your thoughts. Obviously, do you feel like there will be a trade that happens with Russell Westbrook, or do you think the Lakers should stand pat and say, we're going to hold on to these two picks because we could use them down the line for future trades? The team is that I just personally believe you can't get no worse than last year. So,
Mm.
yeah, what are your thoughts?
So I'll say this, like in Laker Nation, we've been running rampant the entire summer. You got you got a bunch of people that want Russ head on the stick. You want him out the door, because of last season and stuff like that. And like you just said, it can't get worse than that. But like this entire off season was just like, okay, we're trading Russ. Wait, no, we're not. We're trading Russ. Wait, no, we're not. Wait, we're trading Russ. Like, we're not. So it was like a domino effect. It was over and over again. And we're hearing all these different names. We're hearing Kyrie. We're like, oh God, we're about to get Kyrie for Russ. Nah. Wait. Are we involved in this Donovan Mitchell trade for Russ? Wait, nah. Wait. What about to the Knicks? Nah. So it was just like a lot of pump faking going on. A lot of pump faking going on with the whole Russell Westbrook thing. And like for me, you know, I try my best to not get excited and hype until like I actually see something being done. So um, I would say probably after the first time the whole Kyrie trade fell through, I was already set in stone that Russ was going to be a Laker for the next season. even when we did the press conference for Darvin Ham and Russ showed up and Darvin Ham explained to, explained to the people that was there and explained to us, Laker Nation, that he had good ideas for Russ. So all of this trade talk, it was kind of conflicting. It was confusing. It was like, okay, how we have this coach who has a philosophy, who has ideas for this player. He feels like he could get I wouldn't really say the best out of this player, but he feels like he could get, he said it himself. He feels like Russ still has so much left to give, so much left in the tank. So why, the next day we're hearing like, obviously trade rumors is a thing. The NBA is a business. Of course it's going to happen, but it's just like, okay, how does this, if we do trade Russ, right? Like, how does this this kind of, messes with Darvin Ham's philosophy, and it's kind of like, damn, like,
Does it? Because I'll say this. So I'll give you a scenario, and I want your thoughts. So obviously, there's really only right now, as far as I know for sure, there's only two teams that have been in constant talks with the Lakers, and that's obviously Indiana. Between if you trade Russ, possibly those two picks.
I'll say this real
Miles
quick.
Turner. Yeah,
I'll say this real quick. So that was another point that I wanted to get to. The whole trading Russ. We're not just going to trade Russ to trade Russ. You know what I mean? Like
I agree. I agree.
The deal has to be right. So if you ask me that in the beginning of the season, like I had this idea that, remember, we spoke about it multiple times, that I like the idea of trading Russ and whoever, TC, whoever you got to package, Kendrick Nunn, whoever you got to package up in that deal to get either Miles Turner or Brogdon and Buddy Hill. Whichever way, I liked it. Whichever way, I was cool with it. But then you hear, no offense, Eric, but trades Russell Westbrook for Eric Fournier. Like, I ain't trying to hear that, man. I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah, that's nasty. Honestly, I'll tell you this. And I put this on Twitter because, like, I saw the report that came out, and sometimes you think they're aggregated a lot. So that's why, like, hey, Twitter, this is a quick message. When reporters are putting up stories on their timeline, let's not just read the freaking like headline and go for that reaction. Actually, open up the letter and carefully read paragraph by paragraph what that reporter or insider, quote unquote, is saying, and then formulate your conclusions from there. But don't deduce from what you just see on the timeline, because guess what they're trying to do? They're trying to get impressions. They're trying to get
clickbait.
Clickbait engagement. So when you see things like let me think of one. There was one where Johan Buvar from the Athletic had posted the Lakers are willing to send Russ home if he's not traded, and people went like berserk and obviously the Russ fans who panicked, and then you had the Laker fans who were like, "Oh my God, the Lakers can't do nothing right. They can't get any trade for him." Blah 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 blah.
But I'll say this: it was that was kind of like, me personally, I didn't believe it. I'm like, there was no way we was going to send Russ home.
But you had to read the article in order for to understand what he was saying. Basically, like if there's still tension and Russ is not really buying into the system, and whatever Darvin Ham's trying to run, Russ is not really with that, then at that point the Lakers may consider that. But we have never seen a Lakers organization who treats stars, even at Russ's caliber, he's a Hall of Fame caliber player, treat stars that way and just send them home. Right?
I think what it was is that we seen the whole Melo situation, and we were just like, wow, like if it can happen to Melo, like as great as Melo is, it can happen to anybody. You know what I mean? To be put in a situation where you're not playing at all, which is crazy.
I would say this though, like my issue with the whole Russ issue. Yes, does Russell Westbrook? This is Ernest saying, I don't believe Russell Westbrook is a good fit with LeBron and Anthony Davis because of his skill set. Do I think they can find a way to make it work? Absolutely.
Of course.
Now, the flip side is, but if I can trade Russ for depth and shooting and or size that'll supplement the load for LeBron James and Anthony Davis, then I would do it, because that makes me a contender, because my two stars will be fresh throughout the year. That's the only reason I'm trading Russell Westbrook. I am not. So, like, I got really upset because I read an article. I'm not going to say who wrote it. I just read an article. I was really upset. It was that the Lakers were very interested and high on Evan Fournier and Bogdan Bogdanovic and were willing to give up 2 picks for just those 2 guys. So I said, and I still stand by this today. I put it on my timeline. I got a lot of mentions or whatever. DMs too. I said if Rob Pelinka trades the 2027 and the 2029 first round pick and Russell Westbrook, and in return only acquires Evan Fournier and Bogdan Bogdanovic, and that's it. So that is a fireable offense. He deserves to be fired if that were to happen, right?
I'll take one of those picks.
Of course. But the thing is that, and like people, especially on Twitter, talking like that, they don't understand how negotiations work. They believe, this is why I always say in Jeannie we trust, like, because like she took over the team in 2018, 2019. Her first year she didn't win a chip, but we got LeBron James that year, right? Her second year, we win a chip and we get Anthony Davis.
Right.
The third year, it was an anomaly because the season started damn near 30 days after the Lakers won the chip.
We messed up our core.
They traded away the core. The guys that helped us win. So we bring on, we brought on Dennis Schroeder. We brought on Marc Gasol. We brought on Montrezl Harrell. Yep. And it didn't work. But the Lakers still had a championship caliber team if they stayed healthy, and the rigorous of the season prior didn't catch up, because that's what happened, right? Like AD got hurt. We were up 2-1 in that series. We were about to go up 3-1 in that game. And AD goes down and we lose. That was it, right? Like we would have beaten the Suns that year. And then if we look at what else happened throughout the playoffs, the Lakers would probably have been in the championship again, right? So. And then we move on to this year, right? And we get it. We didn't make the playoffs this past season. It was very bad. The roster construction was horrible. Everyone's hands are dirty on this. So this whole idea of Jeannie does not know what she's doing, and she's punting away the season if we bring Russ back, that's not the case. I just feel like I don't think we should trade those picks and Russ unless we're getting not a haul, because I understand where Russ's market is, but at the same time, like I could come to the table and say, I'm offering you cap relief. Like at the end of the day, no matter how you split it, we're not trading for Russell Westbrook the player. You're trading for Russell Westbrook the contract. So with that being said, I am giving you cap relief. So those players I get back in return have to be some type of compensation.
It's a win-win.
Right. And I'm giving you picks down the line in which my 2 stars will probably not be on the roster. So, like, we got to look at negotiations here, and we got to stop acting like this is a one-way street and Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss don't know what they're doing. Like, you have to understand, like,
other teams are also negotiating with the Lakers.
Exactly. Like, I can bring one offer to the table, and they have a counter. Okay, I'll get back to you. And then I assess, I speak to my ownership, I speak to the front office, I include my star players, get their ideas on it. Okay, cool. If this doesn't work out, hey, how about this? And there's a lot of posturing back and forth. There's a lot of talk to the media to get leverage, quote unquote, whatever. But like this is all a game, and every day there's a report that comes out by either Mark Stein or Shams or Chris Haynes or
just
Woj.
Look at the Donovan Mitchell trade.
It's the same, but it's the same stuff regurgitated and reworded different ways. And there's a crazy reaction about it. Like it's just insane to me. And it's like, what do you expect people to say? Like when Darvin Ham talks highly of Russ or any other teammates talk highly of Russ, what do you want them to say? That he sucks? The dude is on the roster. It doesn't matter. He's
that's your teammate.
The roster.
You see that guy every day.
Right. Currently, at this moment in time, Russ is on the roster. So what do I look like? Say, hey, you know what, man? Russell Westbrook is terrible. We don't want him on the squad anymore. We got to do what we got to do to get rid of him. You think anyone's going to trade for him? You just lose all your leverage and all your negotiation tactics on potentially moving him because you're in the media bashing the play you want to move off of. So like we got to stop this ignorance, and it's insane. So I say I have to say, look, do I think a trade is going to happen? I quote, Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss said we're not done. So I'm going to take that at face value, and I believe a trade will happen. And will I be upset if it doesn't? No, because I do think the team is better than last season, and I think we'll be better because of the coaching staff that we have now. So it will remain to be seen, but I do think it'll wind up being Russ being traded, and I believe it'll be for the Utah package with Bogdanovich. I'm hoping Jordan
I
Clarkson,
hope so too. Yeah.
and if not Vanderbilt, it'll be Beasley. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I do not want Mike Conley, but I fear that he might have to be in the deal.
Mhm.
And we'll just see, man. But again, do I think Russ will be traded? Yes, I do think so. Will I be upset if he's not and they run it back with him? No, because I think
Yeah.
we'll be better. So
Mhm.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yep. Yeah, I would just say just to go based off that, like I know you asked me how do I feel about the current roster right now, and obviously I feel like, you hear people on Twitter just like, you know what, this ain't built to go to win a contention. I mean, this isn't a team that's built to contend right now, and it's like I totally get it. Like we don't have names that like move the needle. You know what I mean? But it's just like just got to be patient. So like if Russ is on the team next year, all right, it is what it is. Like I feel confident because at the end of the day, like I don't think Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka is not going to let this happen again, and it can't get worse than it is last season. So it's just like, all right, cool. We learn from our mistakes that we did last year, and we come back and we just have a better team. We have a better run. We learn from our mistakes and just get better. Just simple as that.
Yeah, that's it, man. And we're not punting on LeBron. LeBron knows what's at stake. Jeannie knows what's at stake. We were all about championships. That's what it is. If we don't win a chip, it's a failure. That's
Yeah.
the expectation of our team, the organization, and the ownership knows that. So please
Whether
stop.
we got a championship contender team or not, like it
Right.
is what it
So
is.
we need to stop acting like Jeannie doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She's been in this is longer than we have been alive.
Watch the
So
documentary.
yeah. So relax.
Watch the
Now,
documentary.
now that that's out the way. Moving on, Eric, take it over, brother. WNBA playoffs, man. Do
Hmm.
we have some thrillers?
Hmm.
For those who haven't watched Game 3 of the Storm and Aces, what a game that was. One for the books for sure. Sue Bird, obviously this is her last season,
Trying to
hitting
go
a
with a bang.
right, hitting a clutch
Hmm.
game tying three to push the game into overtime, and then for Ajaya Wilson, my God, for her to take over, putting up 30 plus points, and in that overtime game three, she took over. The jump shot, Tim Duncan esque. You know what I'm saying? The rebounding, she just has a very just overall complete game. I love watching her play. She's one of the best players in the world. Um, Thoughts?
So, so only got to watch a little bit of the game. So I was out, but I seen the highlights and I went back and watched the the I watched the recording of it. Um, this is the Aces series to lose. Like if you really think about it, um, they basically dominated the series. Um, Storm, they should have at least won. They should have won a game 3 easily if it wasn't for those late game execution errors. They allowed Asia Wilson to get deep into the basket to tie it in overtime after Sue Bird hit that three to put them up 2.
Mhm.
And then the Aces ran away within overtime in game 3. So that was a big win for them. They're the odds-on favorite to win it all. And
I would say
but I do see this going to the distance, going to 5 games. So
Who
I, I,
wins?
I hey, so for me, before you answer that, Eric,
mm-hmm.
for my own personal reasons, because I have a huge crush on Candace Parker.
I
Always,
think they repeat.
yo, I always have love for CP3.
I,
The
the real
CP3,
CP3.
um,
The real CP3.
but for my fandom for basketball, I need to see Candace Parker versus Ajaya Wilson, like
Yeah,
for all the
that's a
chips on the line,
showdown.
because that to me
That's
is
like
I wouldn't say that like the handing over of the torch,
Mm-hmm.
but it's damn near close. Like,
that's
you know
like
what I'm saying?
a Tim
Asia,
Duncan,
Asia
Kevin
Wilson,
Garnett
Asia
Yeah,
Wilson,
type of 2000s battle.
the new
You
face of the
know,
WNBA.
yeah, like
yeah,
Candace Parker is kind of like, not saying she's like she's getting up there, right? And
Yeah,
obviously this is the tail end of her career, of her illustrious, phenomenal career.
mhm.
But at the same time, like, excuse me, it's like, Jai, listen, man, I need to see those two for all the marbles, all the
Yeah.
chips, the Aces versus the Sky in the WNBA Finals. Like, that's my ultimate prediction. So I think the Aces win that series against the Storm, and
Mhm.
obviously I think the Sky beat the Sun, the Connecticut Sun, and go on to the WNBA Finals, and we get a a matchup of the ages. I'm talking old guard versus new guard. Like that's like, in NBA terminology, that's like seeing Tim Duncan versus Anthony Davis. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like at their peaks, like, or when we saw, Kobe and MJ in this
And
in
MJ,
that
yeah.
sense,
Hmm.
like,
hmm
obviously not comparing all. I'm just saying, in that vacuum, when we look at, like,
Just a time capsule of
yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah, and I like, we need to see it. We need to see it.
yeah.
It needs to happen. I hope it happens. It looked like it's going to happen, because right now the Sky is kind of manhandling the Sun.
Hmm.
hmm
And
I think that the wake up call for the Sky was the first game
yes,
against the
yep,
Liberty.
Yeah,
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah.
when the
hmm
Liberty stole one, like I was just like, yo, like, cause I was planning on going to a game, and I'm like, yo, I I'd never been to a Liberty game since they came to Barclays. And I'm like, yo, I get to watch my first Liberty game. They're about to. I believe that they could beat the Sky, but then nah, Candace,
yeah,
nah, nah. I think that was just a wake up call for them, and just like that championship DNA that I love to talk about. When it comes to teams that's trying to run it back. I think that with that mentality, I feel strongly that they're gonna repeat.
yeah. Eric, what are your predictions?
So I got I got the Aces in 5 and the Chicago Sky in 4. So finals, you got the Chicago Sky versus the Vegas Aces. Ooh, I'm going Sky. Repeat.
Yeah.
Whew, you
Yeah,
know
I'm
what's
going to Sky
crazy?
repeat, man. But it's gonna go
I
back and forth, man. It's
I,
gonna go back
I
and forth.
since you went there, because I didn't pick a winner, but since you went there, I'm gonna have to say the Aces are gonna win.
Mm.
I just a giant yo. I'm just saying, man. Like, I just, how I saw Candace Parker come out of Tennessee, and I was like, yo, she may go down. She may go down as the greatest women's basketball player of all time.
Hmm.
Like she had that skill. I'm like, Wilson is starting to, like,
And
peak.
I think last year that also, like, just the clutch
Oh yeah,
performance that
her
she had.
her leaving LA and then going to
Yeah,
Chicago and then winning
yeah.
hmm
immediately is like LeBron
I
Yeah.
esque.
I think I even before that, I think winning Rookie of the Year and MVP was just like
Which was insane.
right,
Which was insane, bro.
right, and it was like
Insane.
that was the only other
And
person to do that
and
was
not only that, bro,
was Wilt. Like,
she literally had to step into Lisa Leslie's shoes. Literally.
yep,
Like,
yeah,
hmm
she had to step into that role
yeah.
immediately. Because, when she got there, Leslie was on her way out. So
Hmm.
it's just like, yeah, yeah. I mean, Candace Parker. Candace, if you ever watch this, I'm sorry for betting against you. I hope you watch it so it gives you some motivation, because I love to see you win. I have a special place. You have a special place in my heart because of the Sparks. I am a Sparks fan, and we have we've been very bad as of late. So, and yeah, and but Wilson. I don't know, man. Like, she literally, when she turns it on, man, it's like it's automatic for her. It's like
Hmm.
automatic. So I got the Aces winning. at all, and I got them winning in 5 games.
Mm.
I got them winning in 5 games. So as we conclude this episode, I want to talk about just the latest NBA news around the league. What man are you? I would have posed this question and give you guys the floor. Aside from obviously the trade talks we've talked about with the Lakers and the Knicks, what have you, do you think any other moves will be made? Like for like a team has been very quiet, and has some internal turmoil right now. We're not going to speak on the disgusting acts, but the Charlotte Hornets have they got to figure something out. I don't know what's going on down there. They I don't know what's happening over there. They've been so quiet this offseason. Obviously, the incident happened where Miles Bridges really derailed a lot of what they wanted to do, but man,
LaMelo Ball's contract extension's coming up.
right. And Montrezl Harrell, getting arrested for marijuana. Again, I want to speak, we'll stay with me, but we know what Montrezl Harrell has done. It's just a mess in Charlotte, and that's just for me. That's just one team I'm looking out for. Like, what are y'all gonna do? You have to make some moves. I don't know where those moves are though. What are your thoughts on any other teams and whatever, or the Hornets?
Also, Dylan Gallinari towards ACL. He's out for the season.
Yep. We could. I would say 90%. Yeah, 90%. I got this confirmation. 90%. I'm believing it, and I'm taking this guy's word for it. But
this is Melo. This is about Melo.
I think Melo goes there.
Damn.
I did tweet the other day. I just put Melo in the clover.
I seen that
when the news dropped, because I think they've been talking as of late. I know it was 3 teams Melo has been talking to. Obviously, the Lakers, the Knicks, and 4 teams. Sorry, it was the Lakers, Knicks, Nets, and the Celtics. Obviously, the Lakers were, I think he was kind of waiting if the Kyrie thing were to happen, and what may have you. I think he would have been back because he would have filled the need.
Yeah.
But obviously, with where they're going, and obviously if they trade Russ and get those pieces, I don't see where Melo fits. If you got either Bogdanovich and Clarkson and Vanderbilt or Beasley, like there's a lot of wings there already now.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the net situation, that's just turmoil. So I'm kind of staying away from that. It's very unpredictable right now in Brooklyn. We don't know what's happening there. And then the Knicks, the reunion. What does that look like? The direction of the team wants to play more youth guys. Melo kind of doesn't fit that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But the Celtics, the Celtics are on the timeline that he kind of is on, where he just wants to be in a position where he can try to win a ring before he's out of the league, before he retires. And they are in need now of a backup small forward / power forward. And one of the best guys that can fit the role that Gallinari was going to play is Carmelo Anthony. I hate to see him in that slime, but
oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. I think Melo's a Celtic.
I'll go with probably 2 teams, both in the Western Conference. The first one I'll go with is the Pelicans. I like what they did last year. I mean, nobody expected them to be there. It's just like, how do you capitalize on this now? Like, how do you go forward? Like we still haven't seen Zion in the court in like almost 2 years. So it's like, okay, I'm not saying
that extension.
And
they're getting the scary thing about the Pelicans is they're getting a 27 points per game score, on top of CJ McCollum and obviously the All-Star Brandon Ingram. So I'm interested to see now how does the dynamic work? I know. Yes. I as a Laker fan, Javon, I will lament the same sentiment as you.
We all do. We all do. Okay, we all do.
But it's just it's I don't know, man. Like I just feel like if Brandon Ingram takes that leave, right? Like what?
I hope he will. I hope
I
he
hope
does.
he does.
I hope he does,
He
man.
still remember
Because when he became an
he did come up.
all-star.
I'm sorry, he did come up big in
Go
those
ahead.
in that playoff couple of games against the Suns though.
Yeah.
No, he
He was
did. He did.
automatic. He was
Yeah,
He
automatic.
remember.
did.
He was
But
automatic.
my thing is now that you're getting Zion back, who subsequently has to like prove it to everybody now that he's not, this lazy guy. It doesn't work out, and the injuries are kind of behind him, and the hype he has to live up to a certain degree. What does that do with the dynamic? As far as the offense being ran through Brandon Ingram, him having the ball a little bit more. Herb Jones, what's his role? Does he take a lead? And again, a lot of these guys are not going to be stars.
Jose
They have to be
Alvarado.
right. They got to be all stars in their roles. But at the same time, I'm just curious what it looks like. I think the Pelicans will be a good team this year. I think the West is very stacked.
Can you say that for
With
both? Can you say that for both conferences?
well, yeah. But here's the thing with the West. It's not the same usual suspects, right? Like obviously, you got the Warriors up there,
That is
right?
true.
But like now, it's almost like the new guard. Like you have Memphis, right? Then not you're gonna have the Timberwolves. To me, listen, I think Anthony Edwards is going to put on a show this season, and it's going to be must-see TV. So I think the Wolves are going to be like are going to be the Grizzlies of last year, and then on top of that, you got the Pelicans. So like it's the teams that we normally kind of don't see are at the cream of the crop, right? And then you're gonna have the Warriors of the world, the Clippers, the Mavs. I think the Mavs actually take a dip because of losing Brunson. I get adding Christian Wood helps offensively, but he, Christian Wood is hit or miss sometimes. He's
still
But
try.
what
Still
but
really
what
bad.
Jalen Brunson did was like he held the fort down while Luka was
Luka was
out,
out. Yep.
yeah,
during the playoffs.
but not only that, he helps with the ball handling responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I get it now. Like you have Spencer Dinwiddie who can do that. Tim Hardaway Jr. is coming back from injury, but I just think Jalen Brunson was able to run the offense while Luka could play off the ball.
And I think that's going to help the Knicks very, very big with getting that ball out of Julius Randle's hands. So
yeah. I mean, I don't like to take a lot of what Stephen A. Smith says seriously sometimes, but the funniest thing he said, gotta give credit to him. He's like, I call the Knicks Southpaw Central.
Yeah, too many lefties
ballers, on that team. He's
too many
crazy.
lefties.
RJ
and RJ could go right, but Julius Randle, like, come on, man,
they all go left. They all go left.
And then
so,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And then the second team I was gonna go with, and I really hate to talk about them. It's not the Clippers, it's them damn Suns. After the whole DeAndre Ayton thing, everything just got quiet, and it's just like, okay, you went to the finals. You went to the finals 2 years ago. What do you do?
Frauds.
How do you build? Right,
they're frauds. They're certified frauds. They're frauds.
So it's just like, okay, like last season,
Jay Crowder don't even want to be there. Jay Crowder want to be in Miami.
Get Jay Crowder, get him out of here. Get him out of here, man. Don't get me started about no Jay Crowder, man.
It's going to be interesting to see how they recover from last year's debacle in Game 7.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So how do they recover? And are they going? They're not. Are they still the favorites? Yes, but now there's people actually talking about, okay, you put DeAndre in through what you put him through to get his contract. Chris Paul, he's getting up there in age, and his contract is starting to run out.
I don't think the league really takes him seriously because, like, when they made it to the finals, we all felt like the Suns is in the finals, like what, right? And then there you go, the Suns win those clothes, But it's just like, right, exactly. So what do you do next? Like, what do you do next? You went to, like Eric, like you just said, I went through this whole situation with the whole DeAndre Ayton thing. I remember,
what's going to happen with Devin Booker?
And last season, when we was doing our predictions, stuff like that, we all agreed that the Suns made some really good moves to help them out with signing JaVale McGee, Landry Shamet. We was like, okay, like they added that rim protection that they needed just in case when DeAndre Ayton sits down, that was a smart move on their part. Now that they folded in Game 7, it's like, okay, how do you come back for this? Chris Paul's getting old.
Also, there are rumblings about the Suns might want to acquire Julius Randle. So
All right.
I heard I heard reports.
All right.
I heard reports.
All right.
I don't believe it. Me
All
personally,
right.
I don't believe it.
That's not.
Okay, so
Listen. I don't know who want to get rid of their players more. Is it Knicks Twitter with Julius Randle or Lakers Twitter with Russell Westbrook? Jesus, it's like insane. But yes, Javon, I do believe the Suns' window is closed. To your point, Armani, I like to talk about the basketball things, but also like to talk about the locker room stuff. And a lot of the stuff people don't take into consideration. You know, DeAndre Ayton knows this ain't the place for him to be. They didn't want to give him the max. They didn't, they were willing to trade him if push. Right, if push come to shove. I think somewhere down the line, a deal will be made. That team won't be the same. So the Suns are definitely a team that are going to be looking to make some moves. The owner,
that situation.
Yeah. So that kind of is not under the radar for some weird reason. But anywho,
up that under the rug.
Yeah, I just think again, there's going to be a lot of teams in the West that are going to fall back, and then there's a new blood, right, of teams that are going to arise because of the young talent taking over, and then obviously in the East, Miami, I don't know. They didn't make any moves.
Udonis Haslem is playing his 20th season. His 20th season.
They had a whole media thing about. I was like, what are they doing? It was like, oh man, like they was report. Udonis Haslem doesn't know what he wants to do. Is he going to retire? Is he going to resign?
Bro, just with
nobody
what front office, man? Come on, man.
Bro.
Yo,
here's gonna put Ross the spot.
Here's my thing. I get it. You want to take care of the guys, but give him a spot on the bench for on the coaching staff, and then use that roster spot for somebody that you can actually play,
or put him in the front office,
bro. Something, bro, because that's it's crazy. No, Javon, no, we're not doing that. No, Luka is not going to New York. You have a better chance of Zion going than Luka, I'll tell you that. But
here we go.
Yeah,
over Marquinhos' dead body.
I already heard about SGA, but they might talk SGA. So nah, I'm stop. Yeah. Let's stop.
But to your point about Miami, hey, what do you do? Like, pretty much,
they let PJ Tucker go. Like, come on now.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like that's a big loss.
I think
big loss.
Once the whole Donovan Mitchell situation and the whole Kevin Durant situation, when I didn't personally believe that they was going to get either of those guys, but just like when the window was missed, it's kind of like, okay, what do we do now? Like, who do we go after now? You know what I mean? But I just think it's very disappointing when the only thing you do in off season is announce Udonis Haslem is playing his 20th season. So that's just, and especially he was in the Eastern Conference Finals and just won.
They were a Jimmy bucket.
Jimmy, right?
Still in that series,
from still in the series, and that's what you show for it. That's how you come back for it.
And also, Tyler Herro's extension is coming up. Are they going to pay him the full max? Or
it's not happening. You can't. And I know he was hurt, but he was unplayable in some of those games. So
exactly.
You don't give that a player who you can't play in the playoffs a max contract.
So. No, think about this. Him and Duncan Robinson couldn't play in that series.
Yeah. So I do anticipate during the season there will be a move because I feel like they have to make a move. They're not good enough. Clearly, as everyone stands now, Brooklyn, Boston, and Milwaukee are clearly better in a different class, and you could put in Philly now too with the addition of DeAndre with the Anthony Melton and PJ Tucker. They're in a different class than Miami. I think Miami has regressed.
But can you? But I mean, let me say this. But can you say that all 4 of the teams do have question marks?
Well, we all know what Brooklyn's going through. The whole
Yeah.
yeah, we don't have to get into that. We all know with that.
But I think
Milwaukee,
Philly is like, can you trust them?
I think
Milwaukee,
besides Milwaukee,
I can
but
trust.
Milwaukee's safe.
No,
Yeah,
not
but
Milwaukee. Philly.
Boston,
nah,
you're making me say it, but
the Celtics
Boston,
and Bucks, I can trust those teams. The
Mhm.
Nets and the Sixers, they got question marks.
Right. Yeah,
to
that's
me.
what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like,
But
I
what I'm
don't trust
saying is,
Philly. Right.
but what I'm saying is, as it stands now on paper, no narrative or whatever is going on with these teams. I'm just saying on paper, the talent what I see, Miami's not in the same class as Boston,
Nope.
Brooklyn,
No.
Boston, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. They're not in that class. I'm sorry,
Nope.
they're not.
Mm-mm.
They're just not. They're just not. So,
I'll say
and-
since we on the topic, we could throw out another team, Chicago Bulls.
yeah, you know it's crazy. I was gonna bring them up and the
Yeah.
Hawks. So
Yeah. Yep.
the Bulls are in
I still
trouble.
got I still got questions about those 2 teams, the Hawks and the Bulls.
Yeah.
Because I have more questions for the Bulls than more so the Hawks.
Right.
And
Because the Hawks
here's
did
why.
something. Right.
Here's why. The Hawks solved the problem,
Mhm.
right?
They
Clearly,
needed
when
the
they
offensive wing.
when they played Miami, it was trap Trae Young, and everyone else got to beat us. It looked bad.
It was a
So,
nightmare for him.
and I do think John Collins will be moved. And it won't hurt them necessarily with their nucleus, right? I still think they'll have their guys intact with that deal, and then they'll get some comparable pieces in return. But for Chicago, I'm concerned because now that Lonzo Ball, and the reason why they were top, I think they were a top 5 defensive team last season.
Mhm.
And they were like I believe in the top, they were definitely top in the league in pace on offense for sure. That was because Lonzo Ball was the point guard, right? He was pushing the pace and he played defense. And he let just the 2 guys who really don't play defense, and DeRozan and Zach, just go off and get theirs, right? But now you have Vucevic going to a contract year.
Mhm.
And they gave up those picks and Wendell Carter Jr. to the Magic.
Right. I felt like they should have dealt him last season. And then obviously I thought this offseason they would have went out and got a point guard. And they lost Troy Brown Jr., who was a wing defender for them, to the Lakers. So like I don't know. I'm concerned about Chicago.
A lot of holes that just need to be filled.
Yeah, because like how do you not build on the success that you've done last season?
Let me
Like that's the problem I have with Chicago.
Do you see somebody like I don't know, like a Dennis Schroeder, being picked up by the Chicago Bulls?
I can.
I
can. I mean, if Lonzo is what they say, is that concerning, which is unfortunate, man, because you know me, I'm a Lonzo Ball stan, low key. Like I want Lonzo Ball to really, like thrive and be successful in the league. I think he's that such of a great player, at least for his skill set. I just want to see the complete package, because we already see LaMelo, right? I want Lonzo to get there, and it looked like he was getting to that trajectory. So it sucks that he can't stay healthy right now, but I just think they should have made an insurance move to get a point guard, and they should have went out and got a big man, at least something to shake it up a little bit. Not like going into next season, they're banking on Patrick Williams taking this huge leap, and I'm like, whoa.
Ooh, that's a lot of pressure, man.
What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're also banking on Ayo
Dosumu.
Yeah, Dosumu. Like they're banking on him to take a leap, and I'm just like,
they still got Kobe White,
right? But but like it's just like, are you going into the season as Kobe White or Alex Caruso as your starting point guard now? Now that Caruso. Listen, I love Caruso. You know that. But like
the bald eagle,
right? Baby Braun, but but it's I don't know, man. I felt like they didn't do enough this offseason to capitalize on what they've done last season and its success. And is DeMar DeRozan going to have the same regular season as he had last year? Yeah. I don't think he will.
He's 1 year older.
Right. So it's just like, they didn't really make a move. But
what is the direction of the Bulls? So
Right now they're in purgatory.
they're like I put like let me ask you this. Do you see the Bulls, the Knicks finishing with the same area in the standings,
Yeah, of course, of course.
or
I
do you
I
see
definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah.
because to me I see where the Knicks are direct. I see what the direction the Knicks are going. Okay,
Udonis
so
Haslam,
you
man.
got to
Udonis
Yeah,
Haslam.
yeah, Sean, you got UD. You good now. Y'all straight. Udonis
ah
has him. You know what I'm saying? Remember that play against the Lakers when I forgot who threw him the lob, and he caught the ball and he just fell down. I was just like, all right, Udonis, like stay on the bench, brother. But yeah, man, like the Heat got their franchise player, and they're good. They're about to win a chip with UD as the Finals MVP. But okay, Eric, go back to you. Go back to what you were saying.
So I was saying is do you see the Knicks and Bulls in the same tier in the Eastern Conference? Because I see what the Knicks direction is. It's like if they're not a playoff team, then I can see them tanking with the young guys getting a high lottery pick because of the 2023 draft. With the Bulls, I think they're more of in danger of being stuck in the middle.
Yeah, the
So
Bulls are stuck in the middle. They're stuck in the middle. They're stuck in
right.
the
Because
middle.
what they did, the moves they did last
They're not
year,
they're not bad enough that they're gonna be like one of the worst teams in the East, but they're not
right,
good enough to be a contender either. So
right.
they're like the
I
middle of the pack.
I
But
think
for the Knicks, I could see them tanking for the lottery, in which this coming lottery 2023 is supposed to be a real deep draft.
Here we go. Vic
But
to the Knicks. Here we
nah,
go.
I'm not starting that.
Here we
I'm not going there.
go.
I'm not going there. I'm not gonna start that. I'm not gonna put that out there on my team. I'm just saying though, but what I seen last year with the young guys, and if you think about it, if they don't go on that stretch in February and March, and Tibbs plays the young guys, they would have at least won at least 40 games or 42 games just because of the young guys and with how they play. So
I don't think
I don't
the
know.
Knicks in the one. We talked about the Knicks. We know what the Knicks are going to do. They're going to tank. They're going to stink, right? We know that. But the Bulls are in a peculiar situation because they can't. They're not good enough to be a contender.
I don't know, man.
If
I
top
Lon,
four, hold
Lonzo
on.
Ball was a big part to that contribution.
Wait. Javon just said the Bulls could be a top four team if they stay healthy. So are they better than Brooklyn? No. Are they
No,
better than Milwaukee? No.
no,
Are they better than Boston? No.
no,
Are they better than Philly? No.
no,
Are they better than Cleveland?
Cleveland,
no,
No. Are they better than
Atlanta.
Miami? Miami, Atlanta? No.
no.
That's already 7 teams.
That's
Now
Yes.
seven.
we're talking playing right now.
No,
So,
if they're healthy, yes. I mean, like if they're
but
healthy, I
top
can see.
four?
But you know what? Yeah, I
No,
just thought about the
they're not
question
in the
again.
top four.
I'm
No,
Right,
saying if
right,
everyone
right,
else is healthy, as if the Bulls are healthy,
right,
they're
Bulls are
not in the
not
top
top
four.
four.
right,
I'm
No, they're
sorry. I'm
not top
sorry,
four.
Javon.
No,
They're
mm-mm.
not. They're not
right.
They're
top four
not
if they're
top four.
healthy. Unfortunately, especially without Lonzo Ball. No.
Yeah.
But but no. Even if healthy, then they're not top four team. They're just they're not again. If everyone is healthy, they're not better than Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. Like those are 4 teams right there. But yeah, I mean the East is going to be interesting. Um, like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't think the Kevin Durant saga is over. It is on pause for now, and we'll see what happens down the line during the season, end of next
Mhm.
season. If Kyrie don't get an extension throughout the year, what does that look like? There's a certain team that opened up $30 million in cap space. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. And yeah,
To Javon's point, no, I see what you're saying, but just a lot of teams in the East just got better. That's the only thing. So with them getting better
the
and the
Bulls didn't make any
Bulls,
moves.
the
They didn't
Bulls
make
didn't
any
make any
No, they
moves.
didn't
moves.
make no
They
moves.
fall down that ladder. Like I get it. DeMar DeRozan was playing out of his mind. He's playing out of his mind when what's his kid? When Zach LaVine was out, when Lonzo Ball was out. But things that everybody else got better. I mean, Drummond and Dragic don't quite really move the needle, you know.
No,
They're basically
they didn't make any
basically
moves.
nah. They're basically
We got Andre
stealing.
Drummond saying
They're stealing.
he's the
this is-
greatest rebounder in NBA.
And this is not Phoenix Suns Dragic. This is Dragic. This is Toronto Raptors Dragic.
That's
Miami
Brooklyn
Heat
Nets Dragic.
Dragic. Brooklyn Nets Dragic. Yes.
Yeah, I think the Bulls are in the class with Toronto, Atlanta, those teams, fighting for that
We're playing
6th,
those
7th, 8th,
8th, 9th, 10.
Yeah, they're fighting for that coming next season. I hope I'm wrong.
We'll see.
But no, Drummond don't move the needle still as a backup. Dragic does not move me.
Also, don't forget, as much as people want to talk about the top half of the East Conference, Western Conference, who's going to finish first and whatnot, I think what's going to be fascinating is that who finishes bottom because of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you got the Thunder, Rockets. I think the Pistons are going to be much better than the last 2 years.
Pistons are going to be good. I think they're going to be good.
Jaden Ivey and a second year with Kate Cunningham and Sadiq Bey, they're going to be good. Orlando,
and don't forget
Orlando's sneaky. Orlando's sneaky.
Yeah, don't forget the WWE wrestler that's in Detroit too.
Oh, Isaiah Stewart.
And the reemergence of Marvin Bagley. So.
But also, I can see the Pacers tanking. The Thunder.
What's happening?
Pacers
are taking.
Spurs, Jazz, OKC with Chet Holmgren being out.
That's a huge blow.
They were celebrating. What? You crazy? They were celebrating because they knew, we can take another year. They were celebrating.
Also, I can see the Spurs tanking and going after those top picks. Spurs, obviously, once they trade away
I think this is Pop's last year, I believe, too. So I think so. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But
Phil Skinny,
Bucks,
Harden,
Philly,
whatever. Who cares? Miami.
Sean, you took time to write this.
Oh my
God. Sean, you really took Sean, you got it. This is insane. Sean, this is in 4K, right? This is in 4K. This is recorded.
Look, I got a new laptop, so I can see it's clear now, yo.
This is you're a down bad, brother. If you're saying Miami, like you can't be that down bad. I understand last year, I get it, but Sean, you got to stop this propaganda. This is not good for your health, brother.
Miami Mafia.
This is insane. This is sickening. That's
Miami
sickening.
Mafia.
Oh, heat culture. Yeah, what happened in that series against the Celtics? Ooh, they were ugly. Those games are ugly, bro. Let's stop.
Listen, Max Strauss about to be your best player. Have at it.
Ooh.
Yeah, man.
What happened to Donovan Mitchell in Miami?
Yeah, and KD in Miami. What happened to all that?
What happened to that?
But anywho, hey, listen, I'm excited for the new season to start.
We back.
As much as everyone else is. We've passed the slow part of the season, or the off season rather. We will start to see a lot. Sean, them fake ass dreads. Come on, man. His name is not Jimmy Buckets. His name is Jimmy Bundles now. Okay, that's his name, Jimmy Bundles. All right, because he got the bundles on deck to get the lace fronts and the weaves and all that. But anywho, it's gonna be a
look like Kenneth Fareed to me.
Oh man,
it's
gonna be an exciting year coming up.
It's gonna be really interesting though.
In the next couple of weeks, obviously, LeBron has his mini training camp. So for chemistry purposes. So we'll see.
Javon, I agree with you 100%, bro.
Knicks make the play. Okay, this show is over. Because that's what did Stephen A. Smith say? Stay off the weed. Ain't no way we got two top 5 players in their position missing the playoffs versus a team that doesn't have a top 15 player on their roster. Let's stop. Okay.
Quentin Grimes we trust, baby.
All right. Okay. All right. It's getting late. It's time to pack it up. But needless to say, Thank you guys for the engagement. Thank you, Javon and Sean. Shout you guys out for the engagement, man. We really love to see it. We want to have more of that. We'll be back with our next episode, and we're gonna do some early predictions on our next episode. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a lot of arguments, a lot of back and forth, a lot of eyebrow raising, a lot of just questionable things, but also some good points will be made. So tune in for that. And Sean, you know what's crazy? Buddy Hield is food on defense. Anywho, so
Pat Bev is a Laker, man.
Yeah. And no, our whole season hinges on the health of Anthony Davis and LeBron James. That's where our whole season hinges on. As every, franchise who has stars in their team, i.e. the Clippers, i.e. the Nets, all that good stuff. No Kevin Pritchard jerseys. He doesn't even want to do business with us, but who knows what'll happen. We'll see. But again, thank you guys. And until next time, we'll holler at you.
Peace.